I just want to recap really briefly on what we're already doing because we have a significant commitment. We have Operation Sentinel, which is every day 500 police officers out and about, tasking, checking populous places, knocking on doors, a whole range of things. We have Operation Sentinel 2, which is the vehicle checkpoints, 8 vehicle checkpoints right around the restricted area, those permanent ones where we're checking the access and egress right throughout the state. We have Operation Shielding, 160 transit police officers, transit protective services officers, I should say, and 80 police officers from transit who are out there every day, and they're making sure that there's public assurance, they're checking who should be in proper areas, and they're enforcing as you would expect them to be doing so. And from our perspective, though, the people, the vast majority who are doing the right thing, need to understand for those who aren't, there is a consequence. And there are consequences, and I want to be really clear on that. In the last week, we've seen a trend, an emergence, if you like, of groups of people, small groups, but nonetheless concerning groups who classify themselves as sovereign citizens, whatever that might mean, people who don't think the law applies to them. We've seen them at checkpoints, baiting police, not providing their name and address. On at least 3 or 4 occasions in the past week, we've had to smash the windows of people in cars and pull them out of there so they could provide their details because they weren't telling us where they were going. They weren't adhering to the Chief Health Officer guidelines. They weren't providing their name and their address. We don't want to be doing that, but people have to absolutely understand there are consequences for your actions, and if you're not doing the right thing, we will not hesitate to issue infringements, to arrest you, to detain you where it's appropriate. The message is clear from me, and it's simple. We want you to stay at home. That's what the Chief Health Officer wants you to do. We expect you to adhere to the Chief Health Officer guidelines. If you don't, we will be enforcing those. We will issue infringements. We will arrest you. We will detain you where we have to.
Army patrols hit the streets of Sydney on Monday to help enforce coronavirus curbs as Australia struggles to stop the Delta variant from spreading. Around 300 unarmed military personnel have been tasked with going door to door, checking that people who have tested positive are isolating at home. They're also accompanying police officers on the hunt for rule breakers, combing neighborhoods that have emerged as hotspots as the country's largest city enters its 6th week of lockdown. The state of New South Wales, home to Sydney, reported 207 new cases in the past 24 hours. That follows a 16-month high recorded late last week. Meanwhile, a lockdown in Australia's 3rd biggest city, Brisbane, has been extended. Due to end on Tuesday, it will now stay in place until the end of Sunday. Throughout the global health crisis, Australia has managed to keep its cases relatively low, but its vaccination drive has lagged many other developed countries. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has come under fire for his handling of the pandemic. He's promised that lockdowns will ease once the country vaccinates 70% of eligible citizens, which should happen, he said, by the end of the year. Only around 20% have been inoculated so far.
Would you consider ankle bracelets for people in self-isolation?
Yes.
Look at this.
Don't give any names.
My sister's arrested for shopping for food with no mask. And there's people walking around with no mask. Look at this. Just because my sister's not wearing a mask.
Arrest me.
Oh my God! Look at this. Stop! What the hell? Wow. Look at this! Look at this!
I don't care.
Look at
I
this!
said 12-year-old!
Look at this! Look at this! My brother on the floor for nothing! People sprayed a 12-year-old!
me.
Look at this.
You're going to arrest me.
One more time you go in, I'll arrest you.
They pepper sprayed a 12-year-old and me. A 12-year-old. Neeks, it's okay. Just go. I'll get you out. Oh my God. Lawyers will love this. New South Wales Police. Yeah, they call themselves cops. 12-year-old.
Pepper
See
spray.
a 12-year-old pepper sprayed. Because she's a threat to all of these cops who have guns. Next, just go, babe. See, no mask, but they're arresting my daughter for no mask.
All right.
Oh, another one with no mask.
Yes.
You're in my space.
That's right. We told you to get back.
Look.
You're going to be
Not
arrested if you hinder our
1.5.
investigation.
I'm not
all right?
hindering anything.
Premier, good morning everyone. 579 infringement notices issued in the last 24 hours. If it's not already there, people must really start to understand and take heed that if you are going to breach public health orders anywhere in this state, you will be caught. The time is over in terms of warnings and cautions. A couple of incidents of note. Our welfare and compliance teams, Australian Defence Force and New South Wales Police working together on the back of contact tracing information, went to a home in southwest Sydney yesterday morning and found a person that should be there, wasn't there. They made a number of inquiries and not that long after, that person returned to the front of the house in a motor vehicle. That person was spoken to by police and ADF, was issued a penalty infringement notice, stated that he'd hopped in his car and went out for some fresh air and hadn't been anywhere else. But the point is that if you are going to behave like this, yesterday over 2,300 houses visited. If you're going to behave like this, if you're going to step outside the health orders, you will be checked on and you will get an infringement notice, and that person will continue to be checked on and make sure that they comply. You will be caught.
$5,000 for on-the-spot breach of home quarantine, $5,000 on the spot for lying on a permit, $5,000 on the spot fine for lying to a contact tracer, $3,000 on the spot fine for breaching the two-person exercise rule, $3,000 on the spot fine for breaching rules going into regional New South Wales.
I want to stress that to the mums and dads, your children will be well looked after inside. When they arrive, they'll be literally ushered. We'll have nurses, we'll have some of the youth command, we'll have some of the young police from the various operations within police there just to guide them through as to where they go. They'll be looked after every moment inside the stadium, and they'll be well cared for. So mums and dads feel secure. We've got about 24,000 students we're aiming to get through next week. The messages will come out this week, and the opportunity is there, but really you've got to take it, grasp it with both hands. I know if you talk to any of our Olympians, they'll tell you, you've just got to grasp opportunity, and this is an opportunity, so don't waste it.
Said that of those 24,000 original kids, children, that were ushered, according to this law enforcement official, into the stadium, herded in there in the absence of their parents and stuck, inoculated with this injection of God knows what, that 2 of them are confirmed as of right now to have already died. So 2 kids already dead subsequent to this injection in the stadium where they were ushered in and assured everything would be okay.
Whilst it is in human nature to engage in conversation with others, to be friendly, unfortunately, this is not the time to do that. So even if you run into your next door neighbour in the shopping centre, in the Coles, whilst you're at Coles or Woolworths or Aldi or any other grocery shop, don't start up a conversation. Now is the time for minimising your interactions with others. Even if you've got a mask, do not think that affords total protection. We want to be absolutely sure that as we go about our daily lives, we do not come into contact with anyone else that would pose a risk.
There was panic buying at the supermarkets in Australia's capital Canberra on Thursday, after it was announced that the city would go into a snap week-long lockdown. Canberra has reported its first locally acquired case of COVID-19 in more than a year. Authorities said the new measures were needed because they were unsure how the man in his 20s acquired the virus. Chief Minister of the Capital Territory, Andrew Barr,
We do not currently know the source of the infection, but extensive investigation has been underway for many hours. This is the most serious public health risk that we have faced in the Territory this year, and really since the beginning of the pandemic.
Australia's two largest cities, Sydney and Melbourne, are already in hard lockdowns as the country tries to get on top of the fast-spreading Delta variant. The government has announced it may deploy extra military personnel in Sydney to ensure compliance with the rules. Despite 7 weeks of lockdown, daily infections there continue to hover near record highs. New South Wales on Thursday reported 345 new locally acquired cases, up from 344 a day earlier. In neighbouring Victoria, 20 new cases were reported, and residents in Melbourne were preparing to enter their second week of lockdown. Experts see Australia heading into a cycle of stop and start lockdowns until a higher vaccination coverage is reached.
Checking in on a positive case at Greystanes, police in full PPE. As they break the news to Gabriel Chalu, he's off to a health hotel.
I went and got tested for peace of mind. Didn't get a text message that I'm positive or negative, and about a week after I've got police calling me, so I don't know, maybe it's a mix-up.
Confused but happy to comply, the concreter heads off for an indefinite stay. All good?
Thank you.
Beautiful, you're right.
There will be no removal of masks to consume alcohol outdoors. So you will no longer be able to remove your mask to drink a cocktail at a pop-up beer garden on a footpath as part of a pub crawl.
I'm also told the New South Wales government will be requesting from the Commonwealth more troops, so more members of the Australian Defence Force to try and police these orders, because simply as it stands right now, Lizzie, it is not working what we are doing. The police commissioner and the police minister have put their heads together and they're trying to fix it themselves.
And this is all happening now, but any idea of when we might see these changes?
I'm told 48 hours they've been given, the New South Wales Police Force, their legal team, to redraft these public health orders, essentially to make the health orders work for the police rather than work for the public, because at the moment the public we're the people who are ensuring that this lockdown is continuing. A small group of people continually breaking the public health orders. Police don't believe they have the tools or have the ability to be able to stamp it out, and that is now what they're chasing.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chris.
Round to Parramatta, life is getting tougher with harsher restrictions. A large-scale police operation is underway and officers have significant new powers to even shut down businesses. It's been a difficult day for all of us, with the ATF now called in. Ursula Hager begins our coverage.
Macquarie Mall in Liverpool, normally a bustling, busy place filled with shoppers, today packed with police, and it's only a taste of what's to come.
It only takes a handful of people or a very small percentage to do the wrong thing to cause a setback for all of us, and we can't afford setbacks.
New police powers have now been granted. Thousands will be deployed to shut down businesses, construction and public premises where anyone is caught breaking the rules. And now 300 military personnel will be brought in to assist.
It will take it to those businesses that are breaching the health orders, and it will take it back to the homes that are continuing to breach the health orders that are putting us into an extended lockdown.
New rules will also be enforced from 1 minute past midnight. The 8 local government areas will now be required to wear masks outdoors, and residents won't be allowed to go beyond a 5-kilometre limit of their house for shopping, exercise and for those in singles bubbles. But not all the high-risk areas have high cases. The most are in Canterbury Bankstown with 53, Fairfield had 45, Liverpool 32, Cumberland 30, Blacktown 17, Campbelltown 12, while Parramatta had just 7 and Georges River only recorded 3.
Government areas including deployment of specialised commands and including riot squad, highway patrol and increased presence more broadly. From Monday, there'll be 500 extra Australian Defence officers on the ground as well, following a request by New South Wales Police. There'll be enhanced random checkpoints at key roads with accompanying electronic warning signs so that police have every ability with that increased presence to clamp down on people doing the wrong thing. From Monday, The health orders will be formally enforced from midnight. However, between now and then, police will still be able to impose these additional fines, even though the health orders kick in on Monday morning after midnight. Between now and then, if police have evidence that you're doing the wrong thing in any of these categories, these additional fines will apply. So $5,000 for on-the-spot breach of home quarantine, which is currently $1,000. $5,000 on the spot for lying on a permit, which is already a criminal offence. $5,000 on the spot fine for lying to a contact tracer, which is already a criminal offence. $3,000 on the spot fine for breaching the two-person exercise rule in any way. $3,000 on the spot fine for breaching rules going into regional New South Wales. In Greater Sydney and other lockdown areas, but not the local government areas of concern, the 10-kilometre rule will come down to 5 kilometres. So you can obviously do activity within your local government area, but instead of 10 kilometres from your home, it will be 5 kilometres from your home, and that's for all of Greater Sydney. All those areas which aren't the local government areas of concern will now have imposed on them the 5 kilometres instead of the 10 kilometres. In affected local government areas, we want to stress that exercise means only exercise and supervision of children. So the word recreation will not leave any doubt. That word is taken out in terms of those local government areas of concern. Exercise means exercise. Many people know that, but unfortunately some people were trying to get around the rules that were imposed.
Well, I'm giving you
Film
that.
I am. You are not the boss of us. I don't think you realise.
You do not have, if they say they're exempt, they're not exempt. They're not exempt. There's no exemption.
There is!
You understand, Sergeant, that the people don't have to give the reasons for the exemption.
You are bending my arm backwards.
I can see what you're doing.
You don't seem to understand. You do not seem to understand that you cannot
walk away.
I can do
Walk
away. What has
Walk
she done?
Walk away. She's hindering police. Walk away.
What has she done?
She's
She's
not
not hindering police.
What is the arrest
The
notice?
senior sergeant, the senior constable has dealt with it for a while now. And I has dealt with it for the
So you
last
need to arrest
hour
all
and
of
a
us.
half.
What is she guilty of? What is she guilty of? Careful, Mark! Mark! Oh! Fuck me! You guys are bastards!
Hey, come on, stop resisting. You're under arrest. What about this fat bloke here?
I've got it all on film. I've got it on film.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, you are pathetic.
Stop it. Calm down. You're a fucking bully. What's your name?
How pathetic are you people?
Stop it.
Right, what is your name?
You've got it already.
I don't have it already. You wouldn't let me film it.
Why shouldn't I fucking... You need to calm
Put up
down.
with
this bullshit.
You guys are... Who are you acting for? The people or your government?
You're under arrest too.
Oh, for God's sake, give me back my phone.
You're under arrest.
Give me back my
For
phone.
hindering. Is that serious or what?
I was putting my phone...
Just let me get it, for God's sake. Where is it, darling? Where is it? See, do you believe me now, you pricks?
Now, listen, do you know how to administer that? Are you able to administer that? I can't administer it for you. Do you know how
Darling,
to administer it?
I will. Darling, how much do you have?
Just lie up on the side there for safety, dear. Just stay on the side, okay?
How much do you have,
side?
darling?
You stay on the side?
Here, baby, here, baby.
Okay?
Here. Just let him put the spray in, please. Here, just one? Is it just one? Shit! Oh, shit! No! You fucking pigs! No! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! He's gonna... I told you! I fucking told you he wasn't!